Good afternoon and welcome to KTN Newsdesk. My name is Edith Kimani.
My name is Boni Tunya. It is the 10th day of July 2013 and the police service gets a donation of vehicles to use in curbing crime. Those details are on this particular bulletin. We
also tell you the bizarre story of a man in Githunguri who committed suicide after he was summoned to the chief's office after a family dispute. All these details coming your way shortly. Do stay tuned.
Welcome to the program. The Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo, has put corrupt officers on notice, saying the police service will take stern action against officers found soliciting or receiving bribes.
Kimayo was at the Administration Police Headquarters to attend the flagging off ceremony of 23 vehicles donated to the Administration Police Border Patrol by the British government.
The Inspector General lamented that a few officers were out to tarnish the name of the police service and vowed to work to eliminate the vice. Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Olelenku pointed out the need to seal the country's porous borders that had led to the proliferation of small arms and other related problems.
The British government donated 23 vehicles and 3 high-frequency radios, and that was to aid the rural border patrol units' police border areas.
Somebody is receiving 20 shilling or 50 shilling or 100 shilling, and that actually tarnishes the good name of the service. We want to make sure and even give instruction and orders from today, and we have always been giving, but from today henceforth on this reporting, that we want to see that number completely, that it is not within the National Police Service. And those officers who will be found to be indulging themselves into receiving money or bribes, and also the givers, the receivers and the givers, I'm giving a very strong warning today that we want to urge all members of public to share information and also send even clips that they can be able to take through the normal technological gadgets that we have today.
We are focused today on the porous nature of Kenya's borders with Somalia and Ethiopia. And as the Inspector General has just been making clear, the porous nature of that border has implications for many areas of our shared interest. This is about tackling crime, this is about countering a terrorist threat, and it is also about preventing the transfer across those borders of small arms and light weapons, of drugs, and of the smuggling, the illegal smuggling in ivory and rhino horn.
Kenya has approximately 1,600 kilometers borderline with Ethiopia and Somalia, which is a porous border that has created a big challenge with regard to security in this country. The crossing into Kenya by criminals from our neighbors, Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, the proliferation of small arms and many criminal activities have been as a result of this porous border. It is an area that we want to strengthen to make sure that we have secure borders with our neighbors.
Members of the National Assembly have come down hard on the Kenya Power and Lighting Company KPLC during a motion seeking to end the monopoly of KPLC through power distribution. The motion filed by Marakwet East MP David Kongogo Bowen is also seeking to have the KPLC compensate Kenyans every time there is a power surge or power outage that destroys home appliances. The MPs supported the motion almost to a man, most of them listing that KPLC or Kenya Power will frustrate the realization of Vision 2030 projects because they have been unable to provide the much needed electricity for development.
Mr. Speaker, the rot in KPLC and the corruption and the issues to do with the independent power providers, the issues to do with illegal connectivity, some cartels that are hidden from the top management of KPLC and are managed by the people who are doing the local connection in the villages. Mr. Speaker, in some of the urban slum areas, we have power providers who do not pay their power to any of the organized sectors.
It is long overdue for electricity in this country to be liberalized, because Kenya Power has totally taken its customers for granted. Their service to their customer is very lukewarm, and I want to believe that the attitude of the staff of Kenya Power is totally wrong, and particularly in this era. For this case, I think Kenya Power has not learned what happened to Telecom Kenya, because the days that Telecom Kenya was a monopoly in this country, the services were very poor.
Turkana County is 77,000 kilometers square. And you can imagine, Mr. Speaker, out of 77,000 kilometers square, only 5% is electrified. And these are Kenyans who deserve services. I wonder, when will these Kenyans get the same privileges that other Kenyans deserve?
Mr. Speaker, as a result of power surge, many households, utensils and fridges and everything have been destroyed. Houses have been burnt, industries have been burnt, and there is no compensation from the Kenya Power and Lighting. And I think that is because of this monopoly nature.
That's a debate that began earlier this morning. It's bound to elicit a lot of reactions, so do stay tuned to KTN for subsequent bulletins and the development of that story. Elsewhere, Teachers Service Commission has reinstated the contempt of court charges against NAT officials after teachers defied orders to call off their strike that has entered their third week now. TSC wants NAT Chairman Wilson Sosion and its Secretary General charged with contempt of court, and at the same time have threatened to auction NAT property to pay up court fee. Meanwhile, teachers continue with their street protests, agitating for the reinstatement of Legal Notice 534 of 1997. The angry teachers camped outside the Industrial Court Wednesday during today's court session. The ruling will be made on Monday.
Right, I know yesterday I didn't get it right, but Muslims around the world are expected to start observing the holy month of Ramadan tomorrow. This year's Muslims globally will also commence fasting together, unlike previous years, where some start early while others a day later. Several families have already started preparing for the month-long fast, stocking up their homes with foodstuff. Najma Ismail reports on the Ramadan preparations across Nairobi and Mombasa.
The markets are full today as Muslims prepare themselves for the holy month of Ramadan.
People are getting ready. They're buying, changing the house, putting a lot of new food, changing the carpets and everything, so you have to welcome with open hands.
However, Muslims are also cautioned against extravagance.
Ni kuonesha tu ile uabudu, na sheria yenyewe inakugawanyia namna ya kula, ule kidogo kidogo, uache sehemu ya maji, chakula, upepo, pumzi. Naona sasa ukijijaza chakula ndani ya tumbo ndio unashindwa hata kwenda kusali ile sala ya usiku.
While fasting from dawn to dusk, Muslims are required to refrain from eating, drinking, and engaging in sexual relations with their spouses. They are also required to focus on prayer and give a lot to charity, among other pious deeds.
If you do something for God, there's nothing that's hard.
Haina ugumu wote kwa kuwa ukiangalia masala ya afya ni kwamba kuna uzuri kwa wewe kuweza kujipima chakula.
Ramadan falls in the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. This annual observance is regarded as one of the 5 pillars of Islam and is obligatory for adult Muslims except those who are ill, traveling, pregnant women, or women who are in their menstrual cycle. On behalf of my cameraman Rashid Idi, the entire KTN team, we wish all Muslims Ramadan Kareem and Saum Makbul.
Right, Ramadan, Karim and...
Sal Makbul.
Right, we got it right today. Now, a man in Githunguri surprised many when he committed suicide at the chief's office after being summoned over a family dispute.
The 44-year-old is said to have used a rag to hang himself, and this was just moments after he had been summoned by the area chief together with his relatives.
Residents flocked the chief's office shortly after news of the suicide spread in the area. Kandara District Commissioner Thomas Sese confirmed the incident, saying the deceased and his family had been summoned to appear before the area chief early in the morning, but he did not show up until later in the afternoon after his relatives had gone. Eyewitnesses say Kimani was left alone in the room where he used a cleaning rag to end his life.
We came with my colleague here. Tukakuja tukapata watu wamejaa hapa. Alafu tukaingia ndani tukapata mtu amejihang with a duster. Miguu ilikuwa chini and alikuwa amekufa.
Police later arrived at the scene, which was still packed with shocked residents, and moved the body to Thika District Mortuary. The number of suicide incidences happening in police stations has been on the rise across Kiriaini, Muranga and Gishanjiru, and area residents are now demanding an explanation, saying these incidences occur under mysterious circumstances. Najma Ismail, KTN.
10 students from Kisii University were arrested this morning at the university's grounds as they poured out into the streets in demonstration after 2 of their colleagues were killed in a motorcycle accident. The accident, which involved a motorcycle and a minibus, claimed the lives of the 2 young men who are students of the university. The students, led by their organizing secretary Kevin Nyabuto, demanded for the erection of a speed bump at designation section of the Kisii roads to reduce road accidents. They maintained that the Kisii County government is not doing anything to prevent accidents, since there have been several fatal crashes on the bad Kisii road. Now, Kisii County OCPD Tom Mutisia urged drivers to be careful, especially when approaching corners, to avoid such scenarios.
What happened is actually an accident. It's just a fatal accident. And it is being investigated by Chief Inspector Ekwenye, the base commander. And I have a lot of faith in him that he's going to do proper investigations.
The student body is indeed disappointed. We're losing young, intelligent, brilliant minds that can transform this country, live alone on education grounds, but in the advancement and achievement of Vision 2030.
10 people among the 18 killed by a gang attack in Nyanya village, that's in Mwingi County, in Kitui County, were laid to rest today, even as police intensified the search for the mastermind of the killings. During a rather emotional joint requiem mass, the principal secretary in the Interior Ministry promised that the police will pursue the perpetrators, even as area political leaders called on residents to remain calm.
Residents of Nyanya village gathered here at Nyanya Primary School as early as 11 a.m. for the requiem of 10 of their own killed in a gang attack last week. 3 p.m. and the body of the 10 residents, among them 3 children, were brought to the grounds for a service. A village still unable to come to terms with the brutal killings, and the bodies before them a reminder of the dark Thursday on 4th of July when a gang descended on their village at 1 a.m. Of the 10 bodies, 4 are bodies of members of one family. The 4 are relatives to an ex-committee convict who is said to be behind the killings. He is said to have hired a gang that attacked his brother, killing him and his 3 children over a land dispute. The other bodies are of 2 businessmen, their wives, and 2 domestic workers who were attacked by the hired gang the same night. PS in the Ministry of Interior led political leaders in comforting residents with promise that the police will pursue the mastermind of the killings.
Na nikamweleza ile shida iko hapa. Na akaniitia na nikapatia mkubwa ya yule anasimamia AP. Nilikuja na yeye mpaka hapa. Mlimuona? Vile mnaposema mambo ya usalama, mimi nataka kuwatangazia kama mbunge wenu. Manake hawa wengine wanaweza zungumza na wakaenda kwamba hapa nimekanyanga, itawekwa happy camp.
Na kutoka wakati huu sisi ambao tunashughulikia usalama, ningetaka kuhakikishia kwamba tutafanya juu chini tuhakikishe tumefanya yote tukishirikiana na wananchi, tuone kwamba wale waliotenda yale walioyatenda tumewashika.
Villagers attacked and killed the mother and wife to the ex-convict in a revenge mission. Their bodies are still at the Mwingi District Hospital mortuary as they need to be identified as they were burnt beyond recognition. 4 bodies of suspected gang members who were lynched by mob as they tried to escape are still lying at the mortuary as well, as no one has claimed them. The 10 bodies were ferried to respective homes for burial. Even as the 10 bodies are laid to rest, tension is still high here in Nyanya village as the search for the ex-convict who is believed to be the mastermind of the killings continues. The ex-convict is said to have served a jail term of 12 years in community prison before he was released last year.
Well, the burial of the 10 was yesterday and not today, as earlier stated. So that's a correction. But we go on a short commercial break, and when we do come back...
When we come back, we have good news. Athi River Mining is back to profitability. They don't just make cement, they also make fertilizer. You didn't know that.
Just stay tuned for those details. We'll be back shortly.
KENHA was established through the Kenya Roads Act 2007 with a mandate to manage, develop, maintain and rehabilitate all national roads in the country. Know your road signs in association with KENHA. Knowing your traffic road signs is essential to safe driving. A sign with a red triangle will warn you about a hazard you cannot see. These signs warn you of hazards ahead, such as roundabouts, crossroads, dangerous bends, or anything else that would call on you to drive more carefully. You should always take special care when you see a warning sign. If you fail to observe these signs, you could create an emergency. Kenya National Highways Authority. Quality highways, better connections.
It's simple. The more queues you avoid, the more you can make of your day. Go straight to the store or fill up without stopping at the ATM or bank. Visa debit card. It's fast, convenient, and safer than carrying cash. More people around the world go with Visa.
Your favorite paper, The Nairobian, is out. Read about the new twist to the saga involving former Minister Rafael Tuju and his wife, who exposed a new woman in the life of slain Tuju, wife's boyfriend. And The Nairobian has uncovered the shocking revelations of women who are now seeking fully furnished flash apartments for sex escapades. TV girl Brenda Wanga causes a scene in the city as she confronts a renowned blogger Bernard Lugendo for attacking her husband. All this and much more only in The Nairobian today.
Faulu Chama loans are now 12% per annum, and Chama members can also access individual loans against their Chama account. Kaulu branches for details or SMS the word loan and the loan amount to 0708 000 111 to know your installment.
You're my sweetie, my sugar.
Love the man the way that I love you. I can't sleep at night, no, and I can't even fight.
People know it by Jennifer Hudson. The old school know that's Aretha Franklin. And for you to just take a song that goes from the top to the bottom, and you rocked it, girl.
Thank you very much.
Sony Sugar. Simply the sweetest.
Think Business Limited and Standard Group present the Insurance Awards 2013. Take part in the 4th annual celebration rewarding the best performing companies in this sector. In recognition of the crucial role that insurance plays in securing Kenya's future, the awards encourage competition, prudence and stability. The Insurance Awards 2013 will take place on Wednesday, 10th July 2013 at the Hotel Intercontinental Ballroom. Insurance for all.
Welcome back. Let's talk business, fast and painless. Now, East African Cables has unveiled a business development training program for electrical wiring technicians countrywide, aimed at enhancing both their technical and business skills, as well as provide them with market linkages. The program is to be rolled out in major towns across the country, including Nairobi, Kisumu, Eldoret, Meru, Nyahururu, Kiambu, Nakuru, Mombasa, and Machakos, among others, to be sponsored fully by the Cables firm. Under its Fundi Bora Club initiative, TechnoServe Kenyans, non-profit organizations that develops business solutions to the poor by linking people to information, capital and market, is conducting the trainings. The listed firm says it has already spent over 10 million shillings under the Fundi Bora initiatives in educating electricians. Right, to a story I alluded earlier, ARM Cement, formerly Athi River Mining, has reported a 28% jump in pre-tax profit for half year to June 2013 to hit the 1 billion mark, up from 791 million shillings recorded in the previous season. Turnover for the first 6 months of the year increased 28% to 6.5 billion shillings, driven by improved sales of the Rhino Cement brand. Bulk of the 2 billion generated in cash flow over the period was invested in the ongoing acquisition of the Tanga clinker plant in Tanzania. The board of directors, however, did not issue an interim dividend for the year, in keeping with its past practice. Finally, the General Motors East Africa Limited has launched its 3.25-ton Chevrolet pickup in the North Rift region of the country. According to Managing Director Rita Kaveshe, the motor assembly firm is targeting the truck at the businessmen and farmers in the region. General Motors is riding on the economics of the car, which says it offers the most in value to position themselves in the market. The launch in Eldoret town took place on Tuesday evening.
Tonight is the Chevrolet utility, and there will be people later who will talk about that at length. With those few remarks,